Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text number 9. Kaha Griheshu Puman Saktam Atmanam Ajitendriyaha Snehapashaihi Dridaihi Baddham Utsaheta Vimochitum Kogriheshu Puman Saktam Kogriheshu Puman Saktam Kogriheshu Puman Saktam Atmanam Ajitendriyaha Atmanam Ajitendriyaha Snehapashe Dridhair Baddham Snehapashe Dridhair Baddham Utsaheta Vimochitum Utsaheta Vimochitum Kogriheshu Puman Saktam Atmanam Ajitendriyaha Atmanam Ajitendriyaha Snehapashe Dridhair Baddham Snehapashe Dridhair Baddham Utsaheta Vimochitum Utsaheta Vimochitum. This is word-to-word meaning. Kaha, what? Griheshu, to household life. Puman, man. Saktam, very much attached. Atmanam, his own life. The soul. Ajitendriyaha, who has not conquered the senses. Snehapashaihi, by the ropes of affection. Dridaihi, very strong. Baddham, bound hands and foot. Utsaheta, is able to. Vimochitam, to liberate from material bondage. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jaya. Translation. What person too attached to household life due to being unable to control his senses can liberate himself? An attached householder is bound very strongly by ropes of affection for his family, wife, children and other relatives. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj's first proposal was Kaumar Acharet Prajno Dharman Bhagavataniha. One who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. Dharman Bhagavatan means the religious principles of reviving one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For this purpose, Krishna personally advises Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Give up all other duties and surrender unto me. While in the material world we manufacture so many duties in the name of so many isms, but our actual duty is to free ourselves from the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. For this purpose, one must first be liberated from material bondage and especially from household life. Household life is actually a kind of license for a materially attached person by which he can enjoy sense gratification under regulative principles. Otherwise, there is no need of entering household life. Before entering household life, one should be trained as a brahmachari, living under the care of the Guru, whose place is known as Gurukula. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Guru Ritam. From the very beginning, a brahmachari is trained to sacrifice everything for the benefit of Guru. A brahmachari is advised to go begging alms door to door, addressing all women as mother, and whatever he collects goes to the benefit of the Guru. In this case, he learns how to control his senses and sacrifice everything for the Guru. When he is fully trained, if he likes, he is allowed to marry. Thus, he is not an ordinary grihastha who has learnt only how to satisfy his senses. A trained grihastha can gradually give up a household life and go to forest to become increasingly enlightened in spiritual life, and at last take sannyas. Prahlad Maharaj explained to his father that to be freed from material anxiety, one should go to forest. Hitvatmavatam grahamandakupam. One should give up household, which is a place for going further and further down into the darkest region of material existence. The first advice, therefore, is that one must give up household life, grihamandakupam. However, if one prefers to remain in the dark well of household life because of uncontrolled senses, he becomes increasingly entangled by the ropes of affection for his wife, children, servants, house, money, and so on. Such a person cannot attain liberation from material bondage. Therefore, children should be taught from the very beginning of life to be first-class brahmacharis. Then it will be possible for them to give up household life in future. To return back to Godhead, one must be completely free from material attachment. Therefore, bhakti-yoga means vairagya vidya, the art that can help one develop a distaste for material enjoyment. Vasudeve bhagavati bhakti-yoga prayoditaha janetyas vairagyam jnanam hetukim. By rendering devotional service under the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. If one engages in devotional service from the beginning of life, he easily attains vairagya vidya or asakti, detachment, and become jitendriya, the controller of his senses. One who perfectly engages in devotional service is therefore called Goswami or Swami, master of senses. Unless one is master of senses, he should not accept the renounced art of life, sannyas. A strong inclination for sense enjoyment is the cause of material body. Without full knowledge, one cannot be unattached to material enjoyment. But as long as one is not in the position, one is not fit to return back to Godhead. Om Ajnat Virandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Maham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Shivishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhau Dinabandhau Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanastate Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So the section which is going on now, it is very famous among our youth preachers in ISKCON. They take a lot of classes based on this particular section which Prahlad Maharaj is giving to the children. Those children were demoniac children, and because of Prahlad Maharaj's goodness, he had that power in his goodness, special sadhutva which he had, that he could even control the demoniac children. The demoniac children were sitting in front of him, and Prahlad Maharaj started speaking. When they asked the question, why are you talking all these things to us? It's the time to play now. We are children. Then Prahlad Maharaj, he spoke the very famous verse which is quoted by Srila Prabhupada many times. Kaumar acharet prajño dharman bhagavataniha. When he said that we had to practice dharma right from the childhood, Kaumar avastha, right from the age of 5. And they told, oh, this is not possible for us. Dharma is for elderly people, like responsibilities of being a grahastha or a vanaprastha, or responsibilities of being a brahmana or a kshatriya or vaishya or a shudra. These responsibilities are for when you become elderly, not now. Child, what is there? There is no responsibility. There is no dharma for a child. It is only balaka dharma, that's all. Just to play around, have fun. Then Prahlad Maharaj makes a very interesting point. He says to the children that I am not talking about the varnashrama dharma. It is true, for varnashrama dharma you need to be qualified. You require to be qualified in a specific way to perform the responsibilities or execute the functions of a particular varna and ashrama. Like for example, there are particular duties which a grahastha is supposed to perform, but they are very much antagonistic to the duties of a brahmachari. And there are certain duties a sannyasi is supposed to perform which is antagonistic to a duties a vanaprastha or a brahmachari is supposed to perform. And not only that, you have brahmanas. The duty of brahmana is different, duty of a kshatriya is different. So varnashrama dharma is not the subject of this particular section. So when Prahlad Maharaj says that I am not talking about the varnashrama dharma, I am talking about which dharma? Dharman bhagavatan. I am talking about Bhagavad dharma which doesn't require a prerequisite qualification. Now another argument may be say, oh, we are demoniac children. We are the sons of demons. Why are you asking us to practice some dharma and all? Our dharma is to do whatever comes to our mind. Whatever comes to our mind, to do that is our dharma. So why are you advising us? No, even if you are a demon, it doesn't matter. Even if you are anybody, it doesn't matter. Even if you are an elephant, it doesn't matter. Even if you are eagle, it doesn't matter. What matters is surrender to Krishna. So we are here talking about dharman bhagavatan. Bhagavad dharma doesn't require any prerequisite qualification. I am going to speak about this dharma. Practically, the whole entire chapter is nothing but the explanation of the first verse which Prahlad Maharaj has spoken. Dharman bhagavatan iha. Now the word iha is very significant. Now the demonic children told, no, we are demons, you are rakshasas. Why are you talking about dharma to us? Then you can talk to dharma to somebody who is born as a Brahmin or a kshatriya. At least somebody who is born in varnashrama, you speak about dharma. And we are actually demons, asura balakas. We are born, by birth we are demoniac. It is very difficult to change the nature of a person by birth. The nature accrued by birth, it is very difficult to change. Why are you explaining to us? Then Prahlad Maharaj says, Iha. Even though you are a demon, you are born in this land of Bharata. So the very birth, even as a demon in the land of Bharata, is so powerful and so wonderful that you can practice Bhagavad Dharma. So he glorifies Iha. The word here refers to Bharata, Bharata Varsha, Bharata Bhumi, Bharata Kanda especially. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Dharman Bhagavataniha, and especially those who have taken birth in Bharata Varsha. If they don't practice Bhagavad Dharma, their life is useless. The very birth itself is useless. Dharman Bhagavataniha. Then you say, oh, why only now? Dharman Bhagavataniha. We'll do later. Don't know when you're going to die. That is why Durlabham Manusham Janma. You got this Manusha Janma. So you practice this Bhagavad Dharma right from now, because you don't know when you are going to die, and next life you may get an animal body. So there is a desperate urgency. You have to take it up. Durlabham Manusham Janma Tad Api Adruvam Artadam. Oh, you told it can die any time. So what is the use? Because to practice Dharma it takes long time, no? To practice this Bhagavad Dharma, to attain perfection, I heard the rishis go to the forest and do so many different sacrifices and austerities. After many, many years they do. How can we attain in a small lifetime, like a human lifetime? Then he says, Tadapi Adruvam. Remember this thing. I know this body, human body is Adruvam. It is not going to last long. It is going to die at any moment. And life is not very long in the human body. But still understand, this human body has the power to give you arthadham, to give you the artha for which you are, the purpose for which you are born. The human body has the capacity to give the result for the purpose for which you are born. So that is the speciality of the human body. So Prahlad Maharaj is encouraging everyone to take up spiritual life right from childhood. But just speaking this verse is not going to help. It has to be explained. So the entire chapter is nothing but the explanation of this first verse. Now going on, that you have all heard these verses very elaborately. I don't want to go into elaboration of these verses which you have already done in the previous sessions. In the second verse, then the question arises that how to perform this Bhagavad Dharma. We have never heard about it. From our gurus, from our parents, we only heard about Dharma means practice Varnashrama according to one's constitution, one's conditional duties, one conditional position. And what is this Bhagavad Dharma? In the second verse, Prahlad Maharaj defines what is Bhagavad Dharma, and he talks about the 5 kinds of rasas. Priya Atmeshwaraha Surut Sarabhutanam Yadyesha Sarabhutanam Priya Atmeshwaraha Surut. Priya means in a loving affairs which gopis had for Krishna. Atma by considering Vatsalya Rasa. Ishwaraha by considering the Lord as a master. Surut Sakya Rasa. So the knowledge of the rasas in relationship with Krishna was given in the second verse. And then the friends, they said, no, some enjoyment is also required. No? We have this body. It is not that always go on chanting Hare Krishna, always Bhagavad-Gita. A little bit of enjoyment is also required. Then Prahlad said, don't worry. As much as you get the suffering without you wanting it, you enduring for it, you will get the happiness also without enduring for it. So don't worry about sense enjoyment. As much as sense suffering comes uninvited, sense enjoyment also comes uninvited. So don't bother much about it. You become serious about spiritual life. Then he starts speaking about those verses which actually talk about how one just goes on wasting his life, procrastinating. If somebody says, not now, tomorrow, the tomorrow doesn't come. Many devotees or many people, all of us take vows. Tomorrow onwards, I am going to chant the nice rounds very nicely. Just 1 week, I am very busy. And after that, every day 2 hours of Bhagavatam. Then, whenever you say tomorrow or next week, that is not going to come. If it is going to happen, it is going to happen from now, from this moment only. This is called procrastinating. This is also one of the offenses or one of the anarthas which we have. We always procrastinate things. Or the vows which we take, we'll do from next week, after 1 month, after a few years. See, the material activities can be procrastinated. There is no urgency in that. Even if you do, don't do, no, it doesn't matter. But the spiritual life, it cannot be procrastinated. It's the biggest offense, the biggest anartha which everybody has in the consciousness. That is, not today, tomorrow. From tomorrow onwards. We'll make a schedule also. Okay, go on procrastinating. So then you go on procrastinating and you find that your old age has come, and in the old age you cannot do anything. At the time death comes, you wait for the next life. So procrastinating means to think of performing devotional service next life. Because you don't know how long you are going to live. So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj, he explains to the Masura Balakas. He says that one whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to the family. And so many lusty desires come in the mind, and it is very difficult to perform devotional service. Now somebody may say, better late than never. There is one philosophy called better late than never. Seems to be good. Prahlad Maharaj is addressing this philosophy called better late than never. Or, in other words, he says, not now, later. Even if you accept the philosophy of better late than never, it is not going to work. The word ko in this particular words is actually Prahlad Maharaj expressing his surprise. What is that surprise? Even if you realize the urgency of performing devotional service, once you enter your household life, after entering the household life, even if you realize the urgency, how can somebody do? How can somebody execute? I am surprised if somebody is doing it or what. It's a great surprise. So the word ko means what? Is it possible or what? Or is there anybody who is able to do that, is doing that? Even those who have realized the urgency of performing devotional service, now it's too late. The better late than never, that becomes too late. It becomes too late. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna talks about controlling the senses, and he talks two important verses which are very much familiar with all the devotees. Dhyayato vishyan pumsa sangaste shubhajayate sanga sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavat sammoha sammoha smritivirbramaha smritirbhamschat buddhinashu buddhinashat pranashyati. Dhyayato vishyan pumsa sangaste shubhajayate. If it is not controlled in the beginning, tasmattam indriyanyado niyamya bharatarshava. If the training of controlling the senses, although refers to in the very beginning, it may refers to the beginning of the age, it may beginning of the senses where the lust is in the senses, and also it may refer to the first two stages of the 9 steps of fall down. We have 9 steps of devotional service, 9 steps of fall down also. That is dhyayato vishyan pumsaha sangaste shubhajayate. When the dhyana, when the meditation on the sense object goes on, and then when it leads to attachment, before you develop any attachment, it is best to perform devotional service. Once somebody has an attachment to this material world, and then even though by some grace, God's grace or devotee's grace or some sukriti, if he realizes that there is an urgency for me to perform devotional service, gone. It's late. The better late than never translates into as what? Into, oh, now it's too late. Gone. Wait for the next life. So the seriousness in devotional service has to be realized right from the childhood, right from the beginning. That is why Srila Prabhupada says, talks about a Gurukul. And he says, one who is not trained in Gurukul is neither fit for brahmachari life, nor fit for grahastha life. He is not fit for any human life. That is why there is such a great need for Gurukul. Our society, the leaders especially, and those who are budding leaders, they need to think of the urgency of having a Gurukul. Of course, there is a wonderful program going on in our ISKCON, that is a youth program. But even I feel when I joined ISKCON, when I got Prabhupada books, my age was around 30, that is around 19 and a half or 20. So when I read the first book, Science of Self-Realization, the first thing which came to my mind was, I wasted 20 years of my life. So though the youth preaching is the most wonderful activity going on at present in our society, but still that is not the perfect. The perfect thing is to train the boy right from the age of 5, because by the time he has reached the college, 17 or 18, you start preaching to that boy to take up spiritual life seriously. Even if he wants to, becomes very difficult because of many, many reasons. He has been exposed to pornography. He has been exposed to all kinds of nonsense literature, nonsense movies, exposed to all kinds of like scientific, so-called scientific knowledge. So, it is actually very difficult. I deal with many of the boys. I know the problems which they express is innumerable. Just imagine if the problems which they are experiencing to perform devotional service in spite of having sincerity, if that is the case with a boy who was 18 or 19-year-old boy, just imagine somebody who is already got married and having children, what kind of situation he is in. What kind of situation is very difficult to understand. From far it seems to be very good. You have a wife, you have children, with tilak, kantimala coming, oh wonderful. Far it seems to be good. But sit with them, talk to them, develop rapport with them. They will tell the reality. I still remember the day when I joined ISKCON. In our Mira Road temple, they are very good congregation devotees. One very elderly congregation devotee, he came and told me, you are a young boy, of course now I become old. You are a young boy. I pray to Radha Giridhariji that you remain like this in this ashram. Then I was very surprised. He doesn't know me, I also don't know him. I just joined, just the very first day. He told me that you don't know what we undergo. He's a rich person, very rich person. He comes to parikrama every Kartik to Vrindavan. He does a lot of service, everything. Still today is very much fixed up. I still remember the instruction what he gave. Instruction means he gave inspiration to me. He said that you don't know what is my situation. I cannot tell my situation to anyone. The only hope for me is to bang my head onto the wall. And he comes to Mangalarti every day too. He comes to Mangalarti, chants 16 rounds, does a lot of service. But the situation, what he is experiencing is, he just told me, I remember that even till today. So it is very difficult. Once you develop that Vishayan, Dhyayato Vishayan Vamsaha, at that stage only you control Tasmat Tvam Indriyan Nyado Niyamya Bhartashaba. If you just let loose, gone. Once there is an attachment to a particular thing, very difficult to get rid of it. Until unless we have developed some prema, Krishna prema, it is very difficult to get rid of it. This attachment to objects, especially prasangam ajaram pasham atmanak kavayo vidhu. This attachment to the material things is such a dangerous thing that even though there is a sincere desire for practicing Krishna consciousness, this attachments to matter, it actually drags us down, it takes us away. That is why when the attachment is not very strong, that is the time you cut off the attachment or learn how to cut the attachment. The training of how to cut the attachment is given in the Gurukul system of education, where the boys are trained. Especially in our ISKCON society, when we talk about Gurukul, everybody becomes very happy about it, except some of the leaders who have some bad experience of Gurukul. I have been talking about it for past few years. Just because of some bad experiences, that doesn't mean that what Srila Prabhupada has spoken time and again in the purports should be neglected. It has to be achieved either today or tomorrow. Somebody has to endeavor to get the children trained in the Gurukul system of education. In the Gurukul system of education, it is not the physics or the mathematics or the Sanskrit or the thing which you are teaching. Academics is secondary. The primary thing is to teach them detachment. Because it is the detachment which is going to help them throughout their life. Even by chance they become a grahast also, what is going to help them is not their learning or the academics or the skills. What is going to help them is detachment. So detachment is actually the only education. It is the only knowledge. When you talk of knowledge, we talk of so many different things. So what you are teaching in your Gurukul, somebody asked me. Because recently we opened a small school, homeschooling kind of thing in our temple. We have 15 children somehow. And somebody asked me, what are you teaching? What is the textbook you are using for mathematics? What is the textbook you are using for science? I told, this is all secondary. Skills and other academics, they are secondary. What is the primary thing is the detachment. If somebody is equipped with detachment, then he can be successful in life. He may get married later. Srila Prabhupada talks about it in the purport. Like yesterday we were talking about Priyavrata in the Hindi Bhagavatam class. It was a surprise for Parikshit Maharaj. In spite of having Narada as his guru, being instructed by Narada, Priyavrata got married. It's a shocking thing. Sometimes the youth preachers, the brahmacharis, they are cultivating a group of 10-15 boys. All of a sudden you find there's one boy who gets married. It's a shock. Hey, he got married. He wanted to be a brahmachari. Don't be shocked. No problem. He is already equipped with what? The weapon of detachment. If he is equipped with the weapon of detachment, he may be in any ashram, in any varna, it doesn't matter. So, this asanga shastrena dridena chitva, the asanga shastra, this is the shastra with which one has to be equipped right from the age of 5. This kind of training, though it is not a Gurukul kind of training, it is a part of Vedic culture. It is a part of Vedic culture. I still remember in my childhood, for some by mistake or so, or some by nature or so, if I would say I had some ball or some toy or something like that, especially I remember when I was a child, I used to play a lot of marbles, goli. We used to say, village boys, what they do, they play that, not football and all. We used to play this thing. And had a big set of, big bottle full of marbles, different colored marbles. So once it so happened, one of my neighbor boy, he came and he saw that thing. He said, can I get something? Then I told, no. I went inside and then hid it. So I still remember even till today the beatings which I got from my mother. She took the entire thing and then gave it to him. I was feeling that, my life is going away. So the heavy beatings is actually a training process, that how you should learn detachment, how you should learn to give. This training has to be given. This is the only asset with which we can actually survive in this material world. There is no other thing which actually make us really survive in this material world, whether it's as a brahmachari or a grahastha. This attachment is such a dangerous thing that immediately, like it's a slide in that 2 verses, famous verses, Dhyayatu Vishyan Pumsaha. It is said that as long as it's Dhyayatu Vishyan Pumsaha, it is not such a dangerous thing. Sangaste shubhajayate sanga sanjayate kamaha. At that point is a point of no return. Like you remember the children, we used to slide. There's a slide. In the slide, up to a particular extent you can hold and then you can sit. But after some time, you cannot hold. You have to slide down. There is no other way. There is no other way. So that is why Gurukul system of education is very much required. Now Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he talks about this thing. When he is fully trained, if he likes, he can be married. Then no problem. When he is married, what is the purpose of he getting married? What is the purpose of accepting the grahastha ashram? The only purpose of accepting the grahastha ashram is to give up. So Srila Prabhupada further talks, a trained grahastha can gradually learn how to satisfy the senses, can learn how to give up the household life and go to the forest. So then many people ask a question about household life. What is the purpose of getting married? Then Srila Prabhupada actually says there is no purpose at all. There is no purpose of getting married. But if there is any purpose, if at all there is any purpose, then you may say the Veda talks about a married life, and Prabhupada also got his disciples married. And Veda talks about vivaha sanskar. Then what is the purpose? The purpose that you accept a girl in marriage only to give up. Like yesterday also I gave the example in the Hindi class. When you go to the bathroom to take bath, you put soap, you accept the soap only to give up. You don't put the soap so that, oh, I can come out with the soap because the soap cleans. Soap cleans, that doesn't mean that you put the soap and come out of the bathroom putting the soap out. No, it is not that eternally you put the soap every day and it is going to clean the body. It only cleans the body when you actually give it up. So this grahastha life is also like that only. One has to accept it only with the intention of giving up. There are some people who think, anyhow I have to give up, why to accept? But it's a very big realization. It's not so easy. Anyway, I have to give up, why I should accept it? But if somebody wants to try out, but they can try out only with a intention of giving up, with a complete determination of giving up either today or tomorrow. Just imagine how nice is a grahastha life if you are thinking of when I am going to give up. If somebody wants to live a grahastha life and be serious in Krishna consciousness, he should think always and plan always how to give up. If you think that there is some substance in it, you ask many grahasthas who are very serious in Krishna consciousness, they will tell you how much substance it is in this, as was told to me by one of the congregation devotees the very first day I joined the ashram. So sometimes in the New Bhakta class, I asked few of the serious congregation devotees to give them class. So one objection was there, Prabhuji, why are you asking a grahastha to give a brahmachari class? I told them that if I give a brahmachari class, it will be only a theoretical knowledge. It will not be vijnana. It will not be a realized knowledge. So if you really want realized knowledge, you hear from them. We have one, good Akesh Prabhu is there in our temple, Mira Road temple. There are a few more who actually clearly talk about how much difficult it is even if I want to give up. Recently I asked him, why don't you stay in ashram? You stay in the brahmachari ashram, preach. You have spent so long now. Then he told me, I want to, but I cannot. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj is expressing here. Kogresh upaman saktam atmanam aditendriyaha. Atmanam aditendriyaha, those atmanam, no, aditendriyaha, those who are not conquered their senses, sneha pashair dridair bhaddam. The sneha pasha is dridair bhaddam. The sneha pasha is so strong. When I was giving one class like this, in there was some program, 7 days program on Prahlad Maharaj's teachings, one boy, one grahastha, he told Prabhuji, there is nothing like sneha pasha. We are grahasthas, just like that. There is no affection. So it is these days, what you think of grahastha ashrama, if at all there is any some sukha, is that your wife talks to you very nicely, makes nice hot chapatis and gives you. Even that is also not there. The sneha pasha is also not there. Present ashram. So people used to get married so that they get some sukha. Some sukha like, okay, if not maitra sukha, something like, when you come back very much tired from your office or work, the lady of the house, she gives you a nice place to sleep. She talks to you very nicely, soothingly. Oh, don't worry, she says, she pats in the back. Yeah, do you think this is available these days? It's not available. It's not there. So where is that sneha pasha? I don't know what kind of ashrama it is. It's only, there is only shrama, there is no ashrama there. Sneha pasha dridair baddham utsahati mochitam Then he says, Vimochitam. Vimochitam means liberating from material bondage. Now there are only two things which can actually help us to get out of this bondage. One is attachment to Krishna and detachment to matter. And to develop this thing, the best is to be trained from the childhood and being equipped with the weapon of detachment. If one is not developed in this weapon of detachment right from the childhood, it is very, very difficult to even lead a grahastha life. Like in the grahastha life, how to one should lead a grahastha life, in the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna talks about this thing. He says in the 64th verse, somehow the yesterday's Hindi class and today's the subject is almost similar. He says, Ragadveshmuktestu Vishyanindreyescharan. If you want to interact with the senses in the sense object, if you want interaction with the senses in the sense objects, then what you should have? You should be equipped with Raga, Dvesha, Vimuktaha. You should give up Raga and Dvesha. If you interact with the sense objects, if there is interaction between the senses and the sense objects, Raga and Dvesha will overpower our consciousness. Raga Dveshmuktestu Vishyanindriyescharan Atmavashyer Videya Atma Prasadam Adhigacchati. So what is the meaning of Prasadam Adhigacchati? The word Prasadam in this verse refers to not being affected by the sense objects in spite of being in contact with them. Not being affected by the sense objects, being in spite of being along with them. Actually, sometimes I would tell the brahmacharis, you should respect the grahasthas, because one thing is they are the senior ashram. Number one is, in spite of being in the sense objects, in the midst of the sense objects, they are unaffected by it. That means actually they have the mercy of Krishna. It is only by the mercy of Krishna. Prasada means mercy of Krishna. What is that mercy of Krishna? Not to be affected by the sense objects in spite of being amongst them. It's very, very difficult. So when somebody says, oh, why don't you get married? We are not qualified to get married. Sometimes when the youth boys say, Prabhuji, I want to get married. You know, so why? I am not qualified to be a brahmachari. Oh, very good. You have so much of truthfulness. You are so sincere to express that I am not qualified to be a brahmachari. Then why don't you apply the same sincerity and truthfulness and ask yourself, are you qualified to be grahastha? When somebody gets married, they don't think whether I am qualified to get married or not. When somebody wants to join ashram, he thinks 10 times whether I am qualified or not. At the same way, think whether are you qualified to get married or not. The qualification to get married is to be detached. If somebody is not, then it cannot be called a grahastha ashrama. It is only shrama. It is just a shrama. There is no varnashrama. There is only vanarashrama there, without detachment. Because the four things, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyas, the common thing is ashrama. And what is the training which is given in ashrama? Is detachment. If the guru, living in the gurukul, if you are not developed complete detachment, then the guru says, whatever leftover detachment has to be given to you, that your wife will give you. Your wife will give you. And that is the purpose of getting married. I was also telling yesterday in the class the same thing. What is Vivaha Sanskar? In Vivaha Sanskar, a day before Vivaha Sanskar, actually it is a 5-day process. It is not a 5 minutes process. You want to get married? Are you willing to accept him as a husband? Yes. Are you willing to accept him as a wife? Yes. Okay, declared married. It's not a 5-minute ceremony. It's actually 5 days, a 5-day long ceremony. In our village, when my relatives got married, it's a 5-day headache. It's not a joke. It's actually 5-day torture. And just imagine after that how much will be there. How much torture would be there. It may be Vedic, but Vedic torture, you don't know. So in that there is one Nandi Puja. It's a very important thing. If that is not done, he doesn't become Yogya to get Vivaha Sanskar. So in that, this brahmachari, he is going to Kashi. He holds a danda, and then he walks. He's just going out of the house. Then the pujari says, the uncle of that boy, hey, he's running away. Call him back. Tomorrow he's getting married. Uncle goes and says, "Why don't you go?" No, I don't want all these things. It's all, I don't want all this janjat. I want to go to Kashi and study. Because Kashi is the center place of studying. Anywhere in the part of India is called Kashi Yatra. That is the center place of studies. So I want to go back to my Gurukul. No, the uncle explains to him, this uncle is like at the marriage bureau of ISKCON, explains to me, no, it's not, now you're educated, now you can lead a household wife, you can get married, it's your responsibility, you're a responsible person, who is going to continue your Vamsha, he brainwashes him. Then the boy thinks, okay, but on one condition, after fulfilling my responsibilities, what you're telling, I want to relinquish. I want to give up the responsibilities. If you agree for it, then I'll come back. Then he says, okay, no problem, come, at least come back now. So this is the vow which actually every boy takes before getting married. That I am accepting it on only one condition. The condition is that I want to give it up. So this is the detachment has to be trained. So without Gurukul, this just cannot be achieved. No academic education, no equipment of equipping our children with the skills will make them successful in life. What makes a person successful in life is detachment. Even to execute responsibilities you require detachment. For example, you have a person, a doctor. His son comes on the operation table. Can the father do the operation properly onto the son? Though he is an expert surgeon, he cannot do. Why? Because his attachment restricts him in performing his responsibilities. So even if somebody wants to be responsible in society, the only weapon is detachment. What to speak of achieving spiritual heights? Even to execute normal duties, it requires. So this training, the whole purpose of Gurukul is to develop the detachment, as I've told. Even it's a part of Vedic culture. As I've told you an example of a mother doing that thing. I can give you a number of examples of me being beaten black and blue by my mother. Once something was made. I did not like to eat it. Of course, they used to offer and give. It is for prasad only. So then I said, I don't like this. Then she told, get out of the house. I was also Siddhi. 2 hours, 3 hours. Then I had to come back and eat the same thing. So this training, the strictness, has to be given right from the childhood. It is because in the childhood they are receptive. Once you are grown old, very difficult to be receptive. So Srila Prabhupada time and again talks about this Gurukul. So somehow or other, if some of you get together, or few of you get together, and then accomplish Srila Prabhupada's vision of establishing these Gurukuls around the society, it will be a great boon to the society, not only the society, to the entire world. Confirmed. Hare Krishna. Any questions or any comments? Maharaj, any comments?
Very good. You're speaking about so much detachment, just like everybody has some attachment. It's very difficult to be detached. Sometimes young child is so attached to his maybe the room or roommate or some other things. So giving the detachment is sometimes it's very difficult for everyone. Just like in the Grast also, they have an attachment with the children. They want to make him study, qualified, and also make him something that he can speak something, just like you are a good speaker, somebody wants his child to be a good speaker or something. So for that one, he needs some qualification. So for qualification, he has to study this academic knowledge and this one. They think that if they get knowledge, then they can speak in proper way. This is a problem.
That's part of training, no problem. It can be trained. But if somebody becomes very expert in speaking and is not trained in the detachment, So he will be suffering when he doesn't get an opportunity to give class. So what is the use of expertise in speaking when he is suffering? Isn't it? What is the use of that? Expertise is secondary. Primary thing is detachment.
I wish Hello, first of all, thank you for this presentation. And second, from this instruction Prahlad Maharaj gave, how we can assume that Prahlad was just 5 years old. And it's also addressing, this from his 5 years old.
Because he is Prahlad Maharaj, he is not Kamal Lochan Das.
The question saying around still for this particular age. Okay, from the angle of morality, I want to say that Prahlad was not enough in from the child. We heard from the latter part of this. Right, he got married, but it exposes for certain things.
So a person like Prahlad Maharaj can get married. So that is a qualification. So you become like Prahlad, you can get married, no problem. So getting Vivaha Sanskar is not a problem. We are not against Vivaha Sanskar. But we are talking about how you enter with it. Like how you enter the battlefield, like that only. You have to be equipped with the enough machinery, guns and different things, so that you can fight. So in the same way, if you want to enter the battlefield of Grahastha Ashrama, because you are battling with not only your senses, you are battling with the senses of your wife, children, etc., then you need to be equipped with more detachment. That is what is being spoken here. Ashramas are there, it is established by Krishna. Chaturvarnya Maya Sushtam, Varnashrama Dharma is established by Krishna. We should never see one is higher, one is lower, one is wrong, one is better. That is not the subject. The subject is, in all the ashramas, the subject is detachment. That is the subject. Nothing if somebody gets married, like yesterday, if somebody thinks that a brahmachari or a grahastha becomes a grahastha is fall down, that is the greatest offense. Because a grahastha or a brahmachari or a big sannyasi, when he gets married, it may be of two reasons. One reason is of his offenses, like Shaubari Muni. Number two, the other reason is that of Krishna's plan. When the first reason, when his offenses, even that also should not be criticized, because by experiencing the offenses, he is getting purified. Number two, when it is Krishna's plan. And what is Krishna's plan in getting Priyavrata married or Prahlad married? He wants to show to the entire world that how great is my devotee, how great is devotion. That in spite of they being a king, they being a grahastha, having maybe 100 children, he may be having maybe 100 wives, it just doesn't matter. They are totally unaffected by matter. That is the power of devotion. Krishna wants to show the entire world. So there are two reasons. So whichever may be the reason, we should never ever say it's a fall down. If somebody says like that, talks about it like that, then he is also in the line. Okay? So we stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.